Hi everyone everywhere. I hope you get a chance to go to Japan one day. And when you're ready, you can watch this video and learn a few things as a beginner's guide to travel to Japan. No matter what part of Japan you're going to go to, this video will help you out and you will see how simple it could be. And don't be afraid to try something new. There's so much to see all over parts of Japan, but most of this information is going to pertain to Tokyo. Now, Tokyo itself is very large, and it's a city within cities. So what you're going to need to do is passport, save and budget for the trip, research your destinations, plan which cities to travel to, buy airline tickets, reserve hotels and Airbnb, plan your transportation, Wi-Fi and communication, protect your identity and your documents, and pack light for the season and region. Your first step is to get your passport. Now, everybody hates photos of themselves, especially if they look like mugshots. So to avoid something like that, you can figure out by going to that website all the specifications of the requirements. But you can easily just go to Walgreens or Costco and they can take your photo, because you'll see that the passports, if you're a first-timer going into the post office, that those photos do not look very good and you're stuck with that passport and that photo. So that's a very good tip coming from me as a photographer. Get somebody who knows how to shoot photos to do it for you too. You will need to save and budget your trip. Airfare round trip can be $1,200 per person. Hotels can be as low as $80 each person each night. If it's including breakfast or dinner, it could be about $120 or higher each person each night. Airbnbs in Japan are certified and registered officially. So they are government run, and you can even ask your provider of your Airbnb for the certificate. Being in a new country really can turn you around and get you lost, and you can run out of time getting to and from the airport. So it might be helpful to find a hotel that offers transportation to and from the airport, or even the train station from the airport to your hotel, or limousine buses. They might offer transportation of the bus. There's more information about airport access towards the end of this video. Here are some questions you might ask to help you plan your trip, because the worst thing is to find out later that your theme park opens at a certain time and the ride to that theme park might take an hour or so. It would be wise to research your destinations from point A to B. Plan to have extra cash. You never know when there might be an emergency or something you just can't live without. If you'd like to get a deep discount, you can buy airline tickets before entering Japan if you're going to be traveling domestically, because visitors get a Welcome to Japan discount fare. Make sure you plan your flights accordingly, because transportation to and from the airport may not be provided 24 hours a day. There may not be a 5 a.m. transportation provided for a 7 a.m. flight. And keep in mind, a taxi rate can be astronomical, but even cheaper than replanning your flight. You're in Japan for the culture, so don't just find an airport that's hooked up with a hotel. Find the city around the airport, a ryokan or onsen hotels or something. That's why you're there. That's why you traveled thousands of miles and thousands of miles and thousands of miles. You can buy a rail pass in advance to get a discount before you go to Japan. They offer it to visitors. And there's more at the end of the video on that information. If you want to experience like what the locals go through, rent an Airbnb. You'll get the feel of a Tokyo apartment or home and the neighborhood all around it, and it's pretty delightful because you could blend in and people are friendly and there's all kinds of stuff to do. And find an Airbnb that's next to some major trains and subways too. You should reserve your hotels or your Airbnb in advance. That's how you get the best discounts. That's how you can plan better. And you can plan around the area because there's different check-in times that you need to take into consideration. Most of the check-in times are 3 p.m. They will not check you in early. They will not. They will ask you politely that you come back at 3 p.m. and they will even hold your luggage. But you should know this. It's their culture and they do it well. So wait till 3. Yeah, respect the culture. If you're gonna go, respect it. Some ryokan have a 10 a.m. checkout time instead of an 11 a.m. checkout time. It's pretty standard in Tokyo that it's an 11 a.m. checkout time. But this might complicate things if you are trying to get to and from the airport or from point A to point B. So make sure you know your checkout time. Ryokans are traditional hotels, so they do things traditionally and more relaxing and more slowly. And they even have the traditional mats called tatami mats. So I'd recommend getting one of those if you can, because some even have onsens, which are hot springs. If you have a lot of time on your hands and you need to store your luggage, they do have lockers at airports for a fee, and they're pretty simple to use and pretty secure. There's hardly any crime in Japan, to tell you the truth. I'll show you a few apps that can help you make your way around and plan your transportation and more. If you're traveling in August and September and October, you might want to download this free Yurakuru call because it'll alert you for any kind of typhoon or earthquake, tsunami, or give you weather information that you might need in your language. So how are you going to communicate when you're abroad in another country? Like, how are you going to call? How are you going to go online? Well, here's some tips that will help you out. And they're very useful because I use them myself. And it was very simple. And even though it's Japanese, they can do this for you in English. You will totally need to rent a whole bunch of battery chargers because the pocket Wi-Fi really drains the batteries. Before you leave for Japan, I suggest that you take your phone or tablet to your provider for a checkup. Make sure the SIM card is up to date, because the last thing you want to do is to order their international plan and it will not work because your SIM's outdated. Never allow anybody to hold your passport and not give it back to you for collateral. You can give them a photocopy of it if they want to hold it for collateral for any reason. It's a good idea to have a copy of your addresses of your hotels, your Airbnb in Japanese in case you need help by telling a taxi driver or somebody, directions or getting directions or something. It helps everybody out. You could always ask the police for directions. That's their job and they are very helpful because Google Maps will sometimes fail you. When you're on the go, you're going to want to travel light. You can also buy things when you're in Japan. A USD goes a long way, and you can just dispose of it if you don't need it after your trip. When you return to the US and you're taking a domestic flight from an international flight, you're going to have to adhere to their luggage restrictions of pound and size and everything. So be sure to have a backpack along with your purse. They'll allow that. Here's a list of useful websites for you as you plan. Narita can be further for some people based on their destination than the Haneda Airport. So keep in mind when you're at the Haneda Airport website, it's very useful. You can click around and get more info, and you'll see what I mean when you visit it. It's very handy, very, very good. You're gonna need to get cash. Use ATMs that are like at the airport. 7-Eleven, believe it or not, is not like 7-Eleven in the US at all. And then after you get your cash, become familiar with the increments. So it's really nice to learn in advance before you're stuck at a register and they're politely asking to count it for you. I hope you enjoyed this beginner's guide to travel tips for Japan. I know it was a lot to take in, but that's why it's all here on video. You can watch it over and over. So thanks so much for watching. Did you forget to like the video? Are you subscribed to this channel? Well, go for it.